it's a fantastic week we have so far, and introducing a lot of these products now to all our partners and end consumers. A lot of people are very excited, and I have to say it's a great feeling. Now the pressure is on to deliver, because I've seen also that over the last period of time, it was always there, but now it's all about having it. You know, we are very much into the immediate time, and I know for some of our watches, people have to wait, and as we all know. Yeah, but it's something we take very seriously, obviously. But for the new products that we have, I really always insist that we have it very, very quickly delivered, since the whole emotion is around, and also during these times, you know, we don't want people just to come and be disappointed that they don't get it. So yeah, now it's a good moment. Yeah.
Raynald, I totally agree with you, and I'm very excited to discuss the new watches with you, but if you don't mind, I want to discuss two watches that you launched at the end of last year and the beginning of this year first. Yeah. And they're two watches that have absolutely, you know, captured everyone's imagination, driven people crazy. So the first one is, of course, the Silver Snoopy 50th anniversary. This watch is a phenomenon. You know, if you can, you know, I actually have people stopping me in the street, asking to look at it, and then sometimes even asking if they can purchase it for me as well. And I wrote that this is the watch that made us all feel uplifted when we needed it the most, when times were a bit dark last year. And now as we're moving into times becoming much better, it's still the symbol of that to me. It's a symbol of hope. So, sir, tell me, you know, how has the response to this been? It must have been crazy.
First of all, of course, I mean, the response is amazing. I mean, it's amazing because of many of the points, and I have to also be very clear on that. I mean, as I said, you know, it was just not a watch that was foreseen. You know, when you create a new watch, you always give the best, and especially at Omega. But when you go into this, it's the trilogy so far. I say so far because, you know, it's a very nice evolution, and it was not every year. So, you know, the Snoopy, and you mentioned it many times, had become a myth. Also because it's not just another gimmick watch, and I really want to insist on this. I mean, the whole Apollo 13 story, the fact that the Snoopy is really very important for still today for all the astronauts. The fact that we've been given this of course, Silver Snoopy Award made it into such a kind of a unique constellation. And that constellation with Speedmaster, obviously Speedmaster, made us to think, rethink, and I never put any pressure on any time. And of course, one of the most important target was for us to create this extremely important, you know, very positive and great feeling. It's like, you know, getting into something like another taste. And we managed it, and we had to think very long about every single detail, and then made it into this watch. Obviously non-limited, mostly because also we wanted every single customer passionate, because they're all passionate customer, to get this watch. And now we are there. More than 15,000 people on waiting lists, some waiting lists that are closed, and we're there into continuing to deliver on a very slowly base, but linked to our production. But to make it also happen, and that's why also my decision during this time was also signed, because the Apollo 13 story and linked with Snoopy as such made everybody very emotional. Already the story was very emotional, and to have it, you know, during this time published, and you know, we came out with this story in the fall of 2020 was for me very important, because, you know, Omega is a very resilient brand, but also because everybody talks about emotion, but, you know, that was also something that we could give it, and the success is phenomenal. It's for sure. But also, I think, because it's a very positive sign of Omega to the whole community, to the whole world, that what we have on the wrist is also bringing us some kind of a very important pleasure and emotion. So it's good. No, I was very happy.
Absolutely, sir. It's just a wonderful watch and a wonderful gesture and reminder of humanity's resilience. And so the second watch I want to talk about is actually a family of watches, and that's, of course, the new Speedmaster. And when I fully wrapped my head around what you had created, I was blown away. And I'll explain to you why. You know, I think that what you have done with this new collection of Speedmasters is that without losing all of the authenticity and all of the roots to the Speedmaster from the beginning as one of the ultimate, if not the ultimate tool chronograph, you have elevated every single dimension of the quality, so it's like one of the most beautifully executed luxury watches in the world, with a case that's slimmer now, with a movement that's one of the best movements in the world, 3861, with the coaxial escapement, with a free-sprung balance, with a silicone hairspring, you know, with the META certification, the master chronometer certification, and then to have, you know, all the vintage codes that we love, the dot over 90, and the step dial, but even things that we don't even see, like the deep laser engraving you do on the dial, so you can put so much more luminosity into there. You absolutely killed it. And now I see your vision with this new Speedmaster, which also I say it's amazing you also kept the Hesselite watch, which is great too. And then with the Canopus gold, with the Sedna gold, and with now the ultimate kind of the 321, which is like, you know, the haute horlogerie. I mean, you know, it's amazing. So tell us a little bit about where you're bringing the Speedmaster and where can you go even further?
For the time being, we are very much interested in delivering all the new series of master chronometer Speedmaster moon watches. And I have to say, this is and you mentioned it. Thank you very much for the whole structure. I think that talking about iconic watch, and they are iconic watch because of their design, because of the history, because of the legacy, and also because of the history what they went through. I mean, such a constellation makes it into that wow, like wow, iconic, and at the same time not vintage at all. Was for me very much of one of the vision strategy that we had to do in order to I want to call it to give back what this watch has as an icon. That means have the 321 coming with this evolution, rebuilding thanks to the whole Swatch group, this movement, which is an amazing one. And by the way, they're behind me producing them. And also at the same time, you know, having the best and the most iconic chronograph of the industry being upgraded, let's call it upgraded, into a master chronometer certification. We all know that this is the highest standard, independent standard of quality, precision in the industry. So it was exactly what we had to do. So that, therefore, you know, it's like any kind of a evolution of this kind of iconic watches. And I quote the Apollo 13, you know, team, you know, there cannot be any mistake, you know, it's just 100% perfection. So we worked on all that, and we very clearly came to the idea of creating the 3861, which is, you know, nothing else than the most incredible upgrade of somewhere the watch that was on the moon, because we kept the whole spirit. And I'm very thankful to all these engineers, on all the specialists that have kept this and not making it into a upgraded version, even into the movement, and then afterwards into the design, and of course the famous bracelet. That was for us some kind of a inspiring. I have to call it an inspiring project, because we were almost like at the service of that watch, and I think that's what makes it important. When you're at the service of a brand, of an iconic watch, then the result is magic. And thanks to all the technology, I also have to say, that we've created all over the years, that exercise came at the right moment. And as you said, adding the Hesselite in the collection with small details that are different was also some kind of a tribute to keep what I call the moon watch for the passionate, and to make the other one like one of the most incredible chronograph in the industry, and having also Canopus and Sedna Gold which have terrific success into the collection, and was also kind of making it the next level of Speedmasters. Talking about where to, there's always some ideas we have, because I truly believe Speedmaster is also and has become now within the last 3 to 4 years, when we really did all what we've done, including Speedy Tuesday or of course the Snoopy, and very strong and very incredible line of products that from that point of view will be of course further developed, keeping in mind that I call it the basics are now on the level that we always wanted and that Omega deserved.
You know, I think that if historians in the future will look back at what you've done with the Speedmaster and say this was one of the most important moments for the Speedmaster, and you've built really the bridge for the future. So bravo, sir. So Raynald, I want to talk about 3 watches here that I have in front of me, all of which are related to the sea. And I think each of them in their own way represent incredible authenticity and incredible integrity, right? And so the first one I'm going to start with is a black watch. So the Seamaster Diver 300 Black. And what I love about it is we all know that, you know, black watches are very fashionable, and you created one of the most famous ones, the Dark Side of the Moon, a few years back. And I know you had wanted to make kind of a cousin watch in the Seamaster family, but what I really respect about this watch is your use of technology and material innovation to create incredible visibility, even though everything's black. And the reason you've done that is you've basically treated ceramic in so many different ways, using laser ablation, brushing, polishing. It's mind-blowing, and literally you can see everything perfectly. So tell us a little bit about this watch, sir.
I think first, as you say, we were there at the, you know, once again, this pioneer spirit that made us so strong in the last years. Talking about Dark Side of the Moon, we had this Seamaster 300 meter that is so strong and that has such a great image, you know, with of course with James Bond, the last model that we introduced almost a year ago, and still very successful. I had to say that we wanted exactly, you know, the same kind of effect that we had with the Dark Side of the Moon. That means, you know, whenever do a black, let's do it with pioneering spirit, with not new materials, but with new technology. And I have to say, for me, it has become now a sculptural look because of the laser ablation on the dial and every single details of the dial, you know, including the Omega logo, becomes like a sculpture. So it takes out, thanks to technology, and that's what I like at Omega. We are an industrial manufacturer, but we have the opportunity, because it's in our DNA, to create new ways of producing some parts, like the dial, like exactly what we've done there, to make it black, but very legible. And the same for the bezel. The same, of course, for the Anthracite Superluminova, that is so strong. I call it so black, but that makes it nevertheless a difference to the whole watch. And that's exactly why, as for this Dark Side of the Moon, that's why we came into the 300 meter, because if any watch had to have this new technology and this look to, it had to be this watch. So it's a very much of a, you know, an adding of vision, strategic vision into one line, with the strategic result of long hours of working in terms of technology to get to that, I have to say, incredible look.
It is a magnificent watch. And you know, Raynald, I really love what you were talking about. The bezel and the dial starts off as a polish disc or ring of ceramic, and using this tiny laser ablation, you're basically in relief, creating all of the indexes, creating all of the decoration on the dial. It's fantastic. And this is what I mean about authenticity and integrity. You know, you don't make a black watch by painting it black. You know,
that's also very interesting, because I fully agree with you. And that wouldn't be Omega. That wouldn't be Omega. It's only one reference, by the way, also. That is also very important. And it's not like following a trend. We have created again something it's in our DNA, as we mentioned, both of us, but it's also, once again, bringing the next level of technology. And I think also that's what our passionate customers all around the world want, from all the success and all the discussion that I had since we presented this watch. There was very much of for all of them, a very well done comment, because they are very much into this new technology that are applied to a watch that looks so good. So it's not at all a concept watch.
Absolutely. So the next watch I want to talk about is, I think, also an incredible expression of integrity, right? So as we all know, bronze watches are quite popular, and you have launched a beautiful new Seamaster 300, and one of them has, in some ways, a little bit of bronze, but also a very different execution of bronze. So I think the issue that we face with bronze is that it's not hypoallergenic. So when it touches your skin, it can change the color of your skin, and that may not be the most healthy thing in the world, which is the reason why actually everyone that has a bronze watch in the market has a case back in steel or in titanium. Sometimes they color it using PVD bronze or whatever, but it's not bronze, right? And same thing with the buckle as well, because when it touches the skin, it has a negative effect on the skin. But I know for you and for Omega, this was not to be a consideration. You're not going to make a mutant hybrid watch. If you're going to make it, you're going to make it with all the way bronze, including the case back and including the buckle. So tell me what you did, Raynald, to finally achieve bronze, where you can have an actual bronze case back.
It's very. I'm very much of a very big fan of the Seamaster 300 bronze gold, because it's what I like about our brand and about our legacy, and our very much about this power that is incredible by Omega. Why do I say that? Is because, first of all, the Seamaster 300 is part of this incredible, the revolution in the watch industry in 1957, the Holy Trilogy. So it was the first professional dive watch, and since then always been developed. And bronze at the same time, it's also very much color, metal, let's call it this way. That's very interesting, and it's very much linked with of course with water. So what I like about that is that of course we were always very interested into bringing a watch with this concept. But on the other side, that goes into our customer centricity. I think that's we are one of the only brand, or very, very strong brand, that looks for the customers. That's why also we work so much on already with Mr. Hayek on the coaxial, and then the master chronometer certification. This is all because of our customer centricity. Exactly that was for me the most important point on bronze. We developed a lot of possibilities, but for me, very important was always to get into that level that is, for me, the Omega customer orientation. And bronze gold came after long years of development within our group in terms of making it without corrosion. And of course, as you said, not like some other brands, but it's just like making it in Omega way. And bronze gold, therefore, is for me very much again kind of underlining our values. And our values also during the last months brought us to the very good level. And that's why suddenly it became very obvious that that watch had to be celebrated with another sign of our pioneering spirit and utmost care for customers. And that's why we created this bronze gold, which will always, nevertheless, get this patina of a bronze, will have this spirit and legacy for more than 50, 60 years of being a master of the sea, and nevertheless being into one of the design that is also famous for it. So it's kind of a 360-degree concept that I think was worth waiting until we have it this way. Not to talk about all the upgrading that we've done in terms of the Seamaster 300, which is also so famous in terms of design.
Yeah, I have to say, I hadn't thought about it, but you're absolutely right. Bronze is so associated with the ocean, and for this watch is incredibly important. But I love the fact that you created your own alloy of bronze, 50% copper, but 35.6%, I think, gold, if I'm not mistaken. There's palladium in there as well, which brings a beautiful hue to the watch. And then I got nervous because I was like, okay, but how much is it going to cost, right? Because it's actually 9-karat gold. And so then I went and looked at the price, and I was really surprised. Actually, it's the same price as a lot of other people's bronze watches. So again, an incredible value proposition, Raynald,
That goes exactly into our Omega. I would even call it DNA, and that's what it's very, very important. And I have already to tell you and everybody that this watch is a very big already on many of the waiting list that we have in our stores. Yes,
I can only imagine. So okay, I want to talk about dials for a second, right?
Yes.
So in 1969, when Omega created the BA 145022 69, which is the yellow gold watch to celebrate the moon landing. Yellow gold watch, yellow gold dial, or massive OR, right? When you created the 50th anniversary of the moon landing watch, you created your own alloy, moonshine gold, but then the dial was moonshine gold as well. When you created the Silver Snoopy 50th anniversary, this dial is sterling silver. When you have this watch here, right? In the same way that Dark Side of the Moon is ceramic watch, ceramic dial as well. So here in the bronze gold watch, we actually have a dial that is made of bronze, and which is using the traditional configuration of bronze because it oxidizes. But then that way you can get the color purely by oxidizing the material, which means every dial is in some ways unique. That's incredible integrity, Raynald. I mean, I love that.
I think that goes in this 361 degree that I'm always very much referring to Omega. This is almost emotion, but this is the dedication we have for making it the best. And I'm very, very happy you mentioned that, because it's very important for us to get into the details and then to produce them, because we also believe that they will also therefore get into this emotional life that any watch has, but on a much better way. Absolutely. It's very important to us. Yes.
So I've got the steel version also of the new Seamaster 300 with the blue dial, which I love. And it was really interesting because even though the watch has a lot of historic codes, like the lollipop hand, the broad arrow hands as well, and even the configuration of the indexes and the Arabic numerals, and the bezel as well, it still feels like a super modern watch, right? It feels very energetic, very dynamic, very stylish. I know you made an effort also to open the dial a little bit more as well, 1 mm more. I mean, tell me about this watch. What does it represent to you? I know you didn't want to just do another historic, version of a Seamaster.
Exactly, because I think that the Seamaster 300, due to its legacy from 1957, we reintroduced it with big success. Also was used in one of the most famous James Bond movies so far. What was very important is that, not just do another museum piece or re-edition, because I think that the legacy and the DNA of Seamaster 300 was to become a very, very clear dive watch, but at the same time, very modern. And I would even call it very fashionable. And I think that exactly when we looked at this Seamaster 300, we decided not to, keep it just as a re-edition, not because it was already done, but also because we felt that watch has exactly the DNA, the potential to become a classical dive modern watch. And that's where we started to work on every also single detail, like the new sapphire glass dome that makes it, a very nice look on the wrist, very modern, very trendy. Also the ergonomy, the bracelet. So, and the blue dial, which was also very much for us a decision, because we also say, let's make it a proper line into this Seamaster line that has already 3 very clear segments, to create a 4th one based on the legacy, but nevertheless to be attracted by a lot of customers because it's current and very modern look. still, having, for instance, only Seamaster 300 on the dial to make it a bit cleaner, so that it can very much live better. And for me, that was a bit exactly another work that we had to do, but a very interesting one of bringing the past and modernity together to make it a classic Seamaster.
I think you've created the perfect watch for this year, because I think the first thing that everyone's going to want to do once they get vaccinated and they can travel again is jump into the ocean and spend time with their friends next to the water, by whether it's a swimming pool, whether it's a seaside. And this is an amazing watch to wear for that,
I'm also looking forward to that, to ocean. You know that we're far away from ocean here in Switzerland. We have a lot of mountains, we have everything, but don't talk too much about ocean, because as you know, we've already been in New Zealand this year and winning the America's Cup with great pride, but I was unfortunately not able to go. So that's why I'm making this remark on the ocean. It's for a lot of people all around the world still a target. Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the Tresor collection. What does it represent to Omega? I think it's kind of like the Dandy's Omega. Is that correct?
Exactly? I very much love the word dandy, because dandy for me means a lot of style, knowing style, and also the fact that bringing a lot of details together make you stylish, and it goes totally in the direction of what we can read in the Rake or following a lot of people that have this kind of talent. And they are very much into the talent of Omega. So for me, the Ville has become a very dandy watch for a lot of people, and not only being a classical watch, but also being the base, if you want, in terms of our collection for, gold on leather watch, but with the touch of Omega. And that's why we brought some colors that are very much into a classical, but at the same time, very upscaled way of being classical. That's for me being stylish. And I call them a bit the dandy collection, because also of this, I call, this small second, or the power reserve, that in terms of design, and you've seen it for the first time since long in the Omega collection, created a new way of classical watches, by having it at 12 o'clock, for instance, and making it very much into a stylish watch. And that's why, we, of course, came with some references with a bit more of a dial color or strap color than the gray, the white, or the black that any brand has.
Yeah, they're really stylish watches. I really dig them. Raynald, I know you're a busy man. I have just one last question for you. Now we're I think the last time we met each other was 1 year ago, right? I think you were the last person that I actually met, and I had the pleasure of seeing you in Bienne at the Omega manufacturer. What is the thing you've taken away most from this year, and what is the most important lesson for the future for all of us?
Thank you for the question. I'm just me, so I will not try to make a big analysis and geopolitical or any kind of a great analysis. I think for me, what I've seen is that it's as much as I'm very embarrassed and disappointed and sometimes very sad that I cannot embrace my parents, embrace my friends. This is going back into emotion, bad and sad emotion. But at the same time, we talk about emotion. That means that there is a big potential for positive emotion. So what we've seen is that the whole world has been somewhere resilient, but not lost what makes it so interesting. And especially what motivates me every morning coming here to Omega is that people have emotion, feel emotion, and they had a bit of a tough year, because exactly what I said, it's difficult. Sometimes you're a bit, sad and a bit frustrated. But that means that you still have emotion. You miss people. You miss to visit also our store. You miss to do a lot of things. I miss going around to the ocean, as I was just mentioning to you. But this goes all back to the heart. And the heart makes also all the real good brands. And the brands that do everything for the customers, like we've been doing at Omega. even stronger, because they have the moment where people can come back and discover again our collection live. We are then at the forefront of the brands that people want to invest in, because they understood, also due to all what we've done during all these months, is by continuing to create, continuing to inform, continuing to be who we are, by bringing out also some watches at the moment where people might have thought it's not the right moment. We wanted to continue to be close to our customer, to their heart, but also to their mind. So that's why I'm saying, we will get soon back to normality. That's what we all hope. But it was a time where people had a lot of emotions, and this will be soon very positive emotion. That means also getting on their wrist a fabulous Omega, and that's what I very much wish. But that's also I see whenever there is a market being opened again, there is very much of an incredible rebound in sales and in interest and in traffic, which goes back to all the work that we've been doing, and we will continue, definitely.
Yeah, people have likened the future for Q3 and Q4 to be a bit like the Roaring '20s, or after the Spanish flu, there was incredible positivity and people wanted to enjoy themselves. But throughout this last year, Raynald, you and Omega have kept us so uplifted with creating such great watches and being such cool human beings. So thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you so much, and I can't wait to see you soon.
I can't wait either, my friend. Take care, brother.
Thank you.
All
Have
the
a
best.
good day. Ciao.
Thank you. And thank you for the great Moon Man.
Love it.
Take care.